I don't know if anybody's there. Let's see. Are there people there? Are folks there? It looks like 13 people are here. You're not looking at anything. Can you just confirm that you're hearing me? Oh, problem is you have to be a subscriber, a channel member, and that's my bad. But I'm trying to minimize the number of people, firing questions at me. So if you're watching this right now and you're hearing my voice, then I can tell you right now the helicopter will not be here till about 8 o'clock a.m. That's Pacific time. If you look closely in the camera, to the very top left, you will see a bunch of red bins. Those red bins are apple bins that they, for some reason, decided to put right next to my helicopter. If you look really closely, you'll see the helicopter with the blue body with the white cover on it. And I will be departing from right here to get down there. And believe it or not, although it's a real short distance, I have to get in the truck and drive there. So I'm going to do that shortly. Part of this was just to make sure everything works, and it seems like it does. I will try to drive in there, but eventually you're going to lose a distance. It's going to be too much. And then when I get there, I'll try to talk again. But again, the distance is probably going to be too much. This is a line of sight microphone, but it's limited distance. And I will my phone and join the chat and chat some things at you so that you know when I'm coming. So if you bug out now, I mean, you're really early, I understand. If you stick around, if I were you, if you want to see something happening, I would leave now and come back at about 7:45 Pacific time. And then if you look in that upper corner, you should see me prepping the helicopter and getting ready to go. But I expect to land at landing zone right around 8 o'clock, maybe a little earlier. We'll see. Thanks a lot for joining in. Again, I hope you hear me. If you have the ability to chat, please chat something so I know. But if you don't, I get that. Again, it's, my channel members get special benefits, and this is one of those benefits. So just keep that in mind. Seeing some kind of a critter run right past the helicopter. I don't know what that is. Out of here. I'll talk while I go. So what I'm going to be doing is going down, getting in my truck and driving away, and you'll see me drive by. And I don't know how long this microphone's going to work. I'm in my house now, off the deck. My dogs are on the deck. I think they'll be fine there. And I will continue talking. Again, it's line of sight and walking through down the stairs, so they're probably not hearing me. Got my phone, got everything. Me climbing into my truck. Again, I don't know if you're hearing me. All right, here we go. Okay, close the door. Again, I'm on my way. You probably saw my truck go by. Still watching. Around 6:45. Okay, I am now within my house. I don't know if you can see me or not. I need to just park my truck over here. I don't know. Comments. Again, you have to be a member, channel member, to leave a comment. And channel members support the channel. I wanted to give them something. It's listed in the benefits of being a channel member. I'm hoping some of you folks will consider joining and supporting my efforts here. This thing is not cheap to operate, and it's not fun to wash either, as you'll see. So I'm going to take the cover off. Just got to get this microphone tucked away in my belt. Get all this wire. Stick it in the pants. All right. Here. I have a cockpit cover for the helicopter. It's the helicopter a little cool when it's parked in the sun, and it also prevents. I'm gonna put this in my truck. There in park that open. Used to be very old in the college. Set. So, if you me, which means I need to let's first geez, I hope it's still running. Log in. Hope you can hear me, so it's kind of funny. Let's see now. Let's see. Oh, that looks promising.
Hello.
Oh, it's showing me an ad.
No new crash of one.
Hope you're I'm skipping the ads. Okay. Hey. Okay. So, you can hear me, but not great. That's good to see. Let me see if I can comment here. Nope. Isn't that funny? Live chat. Ha ha ha. Hello? Let's see. Yes, Jason B. Hey, Jason, and also Dwayne, thanks very much for commenting. I am using a wireless mic. I'm down by the helicopter now, and I have been able to connect and hear it, and I'm very crackly. So I will probably talk a little bit, but probably not too much because I know the crackly nuts. The distance on this microphone is supposed to be something like 720 feet, and I'm definitely more than that. So the fact that it works at all is pretty amazing. You don't see me or the helicopter in the camera. Actually, you do see me and the helicopter. Look in the upper left corner. You'll see a bunch of red cherry bins stacked up in an orchard. And I am standing by the helicopter down there. And I will shortly be starting the helicopter and sending it up. And flying it up, I should say. So let me, in case you didn't hear that spoken, let me just text that and hopefully you folks will see that. I am at the helicopter. Okay, hope you might and get ready to flying up there. And I'm just going to be in and out. Oops. Glasses on top of my head. Let's see what we got. A cockpit cam. Alright, that's connected. It's a lot of work to hook up all these cameras. Not hard work, but you know, this is just a lot of steps. But this is batteries on GoPros because and that's because the batteries still suck. Okay, this is empty. This I don't need. This I don't need. This I don't need. Good. Have to go around the other side. I only have one camera on today, and I'm just going pre-video. The problem with doing a pre-video is that a real full pre-flight takes a long time, and it on the helicopter a lot, and to narrate, we see by a camera guy. So that's why we have not. Oh boy, dirty. That's why we haven't done that yet. Okay. Oh, just had an oil. But I think you put 9 quarts in mine, I guess, because a lot of it does go into the filter. Okay. All right. So, who's here? Oh. See if it wants to start. Kind of cool this morning. Almost had it. Didn't prime it enough. Well, it's going. So clutch is disengaged. When the clutch is disengaged, the fuel light goes on too. That's just a normal thing. And I wait 30 seconds. I'm going to put 15 into it. Hello everybody who can hear me through the microphone. Just finishing up shutting down. I got my 15 seconds of cool down. I'm sorry, 30 seconds of cool down after I disengage the clutch. And now I'm just waiting for the blades to slow down a little. And my dogs are looking up at me. Can you hear me? The folks that can chat, can you hear me? Just let me know. Okay. Okay, great. This actually worked. I don't know how well you heard me down below. I was pretty far. I don't know if you saw where I came from. I tried to stay in the camera for the whole flight. I don't know if I succeeded or not. I might have gotten a little high. Looks like the camera's pointing a little lower than it needs to. All right. Clutch lights out so I can turn everything off. Nobody's going to walk into my tail rotor. And I don't need to watch any of this anymore because I could just talk. Actually, I will be watching it because as you folks get questions, I will try to look at the questions and respond to them. Let me just turn the volume down on this iPad. So, when I came in, I blew away the bucket and the sponge and everything else that I was going to use to clean the helicopter, so I have to go fetch those. And I'm also going to run upstairs quick and adjust that camera and also let my dogs out. I don't leave them out when I'm not home. Whoops. Go ahead and screw up the sponge. So the helicopter's been sitting out in the sun. Mostly sun, a little bit of rain, but mostly sun, unfortunately. People like sun. I don't like sun in the summertime. I like rain in the summertime. But cherry drying. Anyway, I might lose you as I go up the stairs. Let's see. And then you'll see me get out of breath. You'll hear me get out of breath. Oh, boy. I wanted to do this early in the day because I wanted to be able to stay cool while I was doing it. All right, let's see. I'm going to adjust this a tiny bit. Come on, a little more. There we go. That gets everything in the picture. Now, I'm going to leave the camera up here because, you know, the job is to really get the helicopter watched. It's not to make a video. So, I'm going to leave it up there. Back down the stairs. I am so out of shape. And the dog, release the dogs. And release the dogs and turn on the faucet. Okay. So, I'm not looking at your questions this minute, but I will in a second. I just want to say that, you know, watching a helicopter is like watching a car, except that it's taller and longer, and it has a lot more bugs on it, at least it seems in my situation. I would like to wash the blades. Honestly, my trick to wash the blades is to park my pickup truck under the blades, have them sideways like this, park the pickup truck under it, and then stand on the stepladder in the bed of the pickup truck to do this. Unfortunately, I had to drive my pickup truck down to pick up the helicopter. So my pickup truck is not here. I do have a ladder, and I'll use that, but probably not to wash the blades. I am using car wash stuff. This is some stuff that I've had for years that I use to wash my cars. And let's see if this bucket is really dirty. I'll rinse the bucket first. I'm sorry, I'm out of breath. God, I hate that. So, there's one thing that I'm going to do that I know that a lot of you are going to give me a lot of flack for. and that is that I use a hose nozzle, a spray nozzle. And the Robinson helicopter manual says don't do this. Now, what they're worried about mostly is people using power washers. You don't use a power washer on any kind of aircraft, any kind that I can think of. Maybe a 747, I don't know. Never washed one of those. What they're worried about is hard forcing water getting into the aircraft. I might actually change out this nozzle for a different one. I thought this one was adjustable, but it's not. I usually use a regular spray nozzle, something that gives more of a shower. This is, I think, too much pressure, but I'll get the other nozzle. It's in my garden. So I'm just setting up to wash like you would set up to wash a car. You put the soapy stuff into the bucket and you fill the bucket. Sometimes I'll get ambitious and I'll fill the bucket up inside where I can put warm water in it, but it really doesn't matter. And then what I'm going to do to wash it is again, it's just like washing a car. You get it wet and then you, sponge it down and then rinse it off. Wait, let me get the other nozzle because I don't want to use this one. I do want to close this thing up. Let me take a moment to check the comments coming in, see if I can answer any questions. Of course I can't. Hello to Greg, Dwayne, Jason, of course, and Dwayne again. I am not seeing any new comments. Is that possible? Did it disconnect? The last comment I see was at 7:52, at 7:58. Okay, nobody's got anything to say, or you left. I don't know. Whatever. I'm hoping you could still hear me, because watching somebody do it in silence would probably be pretty dull. Watching somebody do it without silence would probably be pretty dull. Let me run and get my other hose nozzle out of the garden. I tried to prep before I did this, but I don't always, sometimes you get distracted and you don't remember everything. The other possibility would be just to use a water running out of a hose. And the drawback to that is you really can't turn it on or off from the source, so you're really wasting a ton of water. And I don't really want to do that. My power is cheap here, but my water is really expensive. All right, turning off the hose. And you could probably see, if you look hard enough, that right, like on the mast looking down, you see that? That's bird crap. So there's bird crap on my helicopter, which kills me. And the reason I get bird crap on specific places is because the birds will sit on the rotor hub, for example, and as they poop, it just goes down the mast. Same thing when they sit on the blades. Did not expect that to happen. When they sit on the blades, the tail rotor, the blade that's over the tail rotor, because usually I park with the blades lined up, what they do is they poop all over the tail cone. I've got bird poop on my vertical stabilizer. I hope that's in the picture. This was not supposed to fall into the water. All right. Now the other drawback to washing this particular helicopter as opposed to my last one is that this one leaks. So as I wash the front, we're going to get leaks. Oh, I got to turn the water back on. Idiot. Okay. This is a really long hose. I did not realize this hose was this long until I pulled it out this morning. You've probably seen my critters running around. I like to start, well, today I'm going to start in the front because that's what's pointing into the sun. Oh, that's not the setting I want. I want shower. And I got a vent open on this side. Is this still working? Yeah, I'm there. Okay, good. Oops, now I see messages there. Let me see. Uh, slight delay. Yeah, there's definitely a slight delay. Yeah, Greg. Greg says that doing the flight on camera was a really cool idea. And yeah, I can't believe I thought of that. Sometimes I get it right. And I can't believe I pulled it off. And good, the whole helicopter's in the frame. That's all I care about right now. So I want to close that. Oh, I should mention that I invited neighbors, if they wanted to come and look at the helicopter. And I just see that my neighbor just pulled up. And they're wearing masks, which is nice. Except I'm not going to put one on because I'm outside of my house. Let me just get this started. So, again, like you're washing a car, you wet it down little by little. I'm sorry, I do not have a mask with me, but if you stay away from me, you'll be all right. I'm not sick, as far as I know, but so just want to let you know that this is being live streamed, believe it or not. Yeah, people are interested in this kind of stuff. So you're not reading my video because I just told them you were coming. But I am going to keep washing because, oh, it's really dirty. So the window's pretty much clean already because I washed it the other day. But of course you wash everything. So that's why it looks like I'm talking to myself, but I'm actually talking to the people watching from up there. And I keep telling them that it's just like washing a car. But I still got people watching. I wish they could come over here and help me. Yeah. So these are my neighbors who are coming in the picture. And is that your dad?
Oh yeah, that's my dad.
Hi, how are you? You can come over. I'll stop sprinkling.
That's okay.
You want to come? You want to sit in the helicopter, Teddy? Want to sit?
All talk, and he's always like, "Okay, I'm good."
Oh, it's not running. It's getting washed. It's taking a bath. So it's not going to go anywhere. You can sit right in the pilot seat if you want. Nobody's sitting there now. Oop, and you just see how it's leaking? Oh, man.
Is there anything you can mess up?
Nope, it's parked. It's parked, it's shut off. The key's out. Not that it's, you don't just start it with the key. There's actually more to it, but yeah, come on, sit in there.
I don't want to.
You don't want to.
Just for a little bit.
Just for a second. Come on, it's not going anywhere. I had a passenger once. They brought their kid for his 12th birthday. They bought him an hour-long tour, and this was in Phoenix. Look at you! And the kid, yep, you can get, just move the stuff out of the way. Don't drive. Did he say that? Don't drive?
Yeah.
Wait a second here. There you go. Oops, got water on everything. Yeah, it leaks, which is not fun when you're flying in the rain as much as I do. Let me put this over here. Sometimes they make me fly in the rain, or sometimes it starts raining when I'm flying. Nope, that's Rosie, that's Lily. How you like it? Did you get pictures? Yeah, good. Look at you. I think your legs need to get a little bit longer before you can start flying. I invited Steve. I don't know if you noticed Steve has some company. Like, I don't know, Steve Nelson? Yeah. He's, is that who it is? I didn't realize. No, he's got like RVs there now too. He must not have driven by. Anyway, I invited them, but I haven't heard from him, so I don't think he's going to come. So, I'm going to keep washing, guys, because I got to get this thing done before it gets too hot. But you can sit in there as long as you like. Just when I turn the hose on, it's going to get wet because it leaks. Put this back here. Well, you know, like I was saying, I had this kid that his parents bought him this helicopter ride for his birthday because he apparently was like going on and on and on about how he wanted a helicopter ride. So they get him to the airport and he's all excited, all excited. You get him out next to the helicopter and all of a sudden he's like, I don't know. And his parents basically forced him into it. And he was terrified. The whole time, he was so terrified that I cut the ride 15 minutes short. I was like, there's no way I'm dealing with this kid screaming. I turned the intercom off, and then I just cut the ride short. He was screaming. Every time I made when you turn, it banks. So it's tilted.
Yeah.
But it's not tilted a ton. It's just tilted a little.
Yeah.
Well, every time I made a turn to his side, which was the way I was going to the left,
Yeah.
he would absolutely freak out. So it was not a...
Were his parents in the back with him?
Yeah, it was like, I think it was his mother and his grandmother or something. And he's screaming into the microphone, and oh man, I just turned the intercom off so I didn't listen to him. So, you know. And I've seen little kids though, like toddlers, and they put them on board, like when I do the rides at the airport. And those kids, sometimes they'll be fine until they put the headset on them. And then they freak out. So they, the parents say, oh, no headset. Fix that. Okay. Coming out. Yeah, I always tell folks, under 3, it's not really worth the money. Whoops. Because the kid's probably not going to remember it.
I remember it.
And, yeah. So, yeah, I guess you heard me coming in. I was just about to text you too. It's,
Was that fun, Teddy? Yeah.
look at all this dust.
There's a bunch of color.
Let's get wet up here first.
We have kinds of color.
It's the main rotor. Yeah, and believe it or not, those are wings. People don't think of them as wings, but they are wings. They're airfoils. Uh-oh. This little toy, if you bought one of these brand new today, with set up like this one, probably about $550,000. Yeah. So, right. Yeah, yeah. My original one, which I bought brand new from the factory in 2005, fully loaded, but I got a good deal on it, was $346. So the prices have come up since 2005. It's been 15 years. This one has got some special features in it that my other one did not have. It has a radar altimeter, which the FAA requires me to buy. That cost me $10,000 alone, just for that one instrument. And then it also has air conditioning, which my other one didn't have. This is the first helicopter out of the factory with air conditioning. It belonged to a dealer. It's got a custom paint job to match his Mustang, believe it or not. Ford Impact Blue. So yeah, sorry about the hose. So, getting the dust off. Say again? No, I don't winterize it. I just park it in a hangar for the winter. This year, in fact, this is the last thing I'm going to do from here. It goes right to the airport. It goes into the hangar for the winter. And the reason is that it needs to get overhauled every 2,200 hours. And it is 85 hours away from that. And I want to save those 85 hours for next year. So, because I just don't want to take out a, $250,000 loan. Duh. So, silly me. So then this way I can get it overhauled after next cherry season. I think the 85 hours will last for the season. You get a whole another year out of it without having the additional expense of a loan and the increased insurance. My insurance is going to basically double after overhaul. Overhaul, they take it into a shop where you can get it done at the factory, and they tear it down take every single panel off, take every single component off. It's basically a shell. And they rebuild the engine, they rebuild the transmission, they replace the rotor blades. In this next overhaul, they're going to be replacing the tail cone. Because that's part of the second, that'll be this helicopter's second overhaul. So, but it comes back brand new. Like, it comes back brand new and worth more than it's worth now, plus what I'm going to spend. So if it's worth 100 now, maybe, and then I add 250, it's going to be worth more than 350. It's probably worth about 450. So it's a good deal if I'm interested in doing it. It's just a tough nut to swallow right now with the economy the way it is. I've had to turn down charter flights because of the virus, you know. So yeah. Let me rinse what I washed just now and see what I've got. I still have to get up there on the ladder. I hate getting on the ladder. Oh, no. Up there. The problem is it's also got, it's all bugs in the front. Right. Okay, so there's two dangers in the back of the helicopter there's two dangers in the back of the helicopter when the engine is running. The first is the exhaust. It's really hot, so if you duck under the tail cone right here, you run the risk of getting blasted with the exhaust, which is really hot. That's not the major problem. The major problem is the tail rotor. When it's spinning, it's invisible, so you don't see it. Which is why I've got all these guards here. This thing here is called candy cone, the candy cane. That's what they call this. That's a stinger. That's got a different purpose. But the whole idea, danger. They're telling you it's danger. If you walk through this when it's spinning, it'll cut whatever it hits. People have been. So always walk to the front. And a good helicopter pilot, when they are landing and they know they're going to be picking up people, or there might be people on the ground, they will always park with the tail away from the people, giving them absolutely no reason to walk behind. That doesn't mean they won't do it, or that somebody else won't come up behind them, but it's really important. There's been a lot of, I've taken the safety course at the factory a few times, and they give you a lot of horror stories. And the one was where the kid was giving his girlfriend and her friends rides, and the girlfriend got out and walked behind the helicopter. Yeah. So I can't even imagine being the pilot for that. But the guy parked in such a way that it made it, the friends were behind. See, the problem is that when you've got a stiff wind, the helicopter is easier to park when it's pointed into the wind. So what you have to do on a windy day is you have to decide what's more important, the safety of people on the ground or the ability to land easier. And obviously it's the safety of the people on the ground, but on new pilots, they don't always think that way because they're new pilots who are not comfortable landing in a crosswind or a tailwind. Well, there's that too, but the reason I didn't tell you guys to come at a certain time is I didn't really want anybody here when I landed, because it kicks up a lot of dust and it just makes a dangerous situation. And then I also have to worry about people on the ground, which I don't want to do. This is like a tail here. I don't want that there. You can climb in if you want. Just go over there. All right. Let me take this thing up. So this thing is kind of a rough, scrubby, not too rough though, and that helps get the bugs off. Some friends of mine that were fanatical about keeping their airplane clean, they are the ones who turn me on to this thing. And I always get bugs on the front of the mast. I've only hit birds twice. Neither time was a problem for me. Birds, not so much. One time, my other helicopter was out of the factory. It only had 11 hours on it, and I hit a bird with one of the legs, and it put a dent in one of the legs. And the other bird strike, I don't even remember where I hit. I think I hit it with the main rotor blade. Yeah, well, you know what's bad is when they go through the windscreen. Yeah, sometimes if it's a big enough bird and you hit it just right, it'll go through the windscreen. It happened to a friend of mine at the Grand Canyon. Flying along and all of a sudden there's a 90-mile-an-hour wind coming through and there's a dead bird on her lap. Not good. This is actually coming off way easier than I expected, the bugs. It's this thing. So, get that bird poop off. So I am using an orchard ladder, which is super stable outdoors. Yeah, if you don't have one of these and you have a need to climb on a ladder outside, get a 3-legged ladder. I bought this at Home Depot a couple of years ago. This is not the tallest one. They make a taller one. They're lightweight and they're like super, super steady. And they're good even on rough terrain. Yeah, there you go. Well, if you ever need to borrow it, it's usually right by my shed. Just help yourself. No sense of buying one if you're only going to use it once in a while. I don't use mine very often either. All right. Let's rinse that off and see what it looks like. Okay. And I'm going to look to see if there's any questions. So if anybody has questions, ask them now. And I will look in a moment. Oops, still bird poop on there. The bugs are gone. I don't know how many are on right now. Last time I looked, there were 45. So I don't know. It's YouTube. Put my I can tell you in a second. If anybody's still here. Okay, who's still here? So it's 50 people. Let's see. Slight delay. I heard that. The AV should be good because I've got a microphone, wireless microphone right here with a dead cat on it. That's a muffler so that the wind noise. Not that there's any wind today. Let's see. Amazed I can reach the top of the cabin. I'm pretty tall. They make these with, they have an option for extended skids that makes them a little bit higher. And that's designed for folks who do a lot of off-airport landings and want that extra height off of the grass. I wish you could be there to help too, Jason. Is it necessary to wax the heli? It's not necessary. It's never necessary to wax anything, but it's always a good thing. It's nice. And good that my voice is clear. Good. All right, I'm all caught up on your comments. I'm going to get back to work. I'm going to not put this in the... I hear an airplane taking off at the airport. So I need to get back up there. A little bit more scrub on this thing to get rid of this bird poop. So this is not a structural piece. This is just a fairing to cover. The rotor mast offers it some protection if you do fly into a flock of birds, I guess. And other stuff. It's easy enough to get off. You just undo the screws over here on the side and it just peels open. I don't do that, but when they do maintenance, they do it. I haven't needed to do it. I don't want to do it. Okay, I'm going to go around the other side now. Some more water in this bucket too. I don't know how you folks wash your cars. This is how I wash my cars as well. You do it in sections if you have to do it in the sun. Because you don't want the soap drying on it. I don't want the soap drying on it. And I don't mind rinsing a spot twice to make sure I got it. Oh, more lovely bird poop. Yeah, I went to get an oil change the other day, and the mechanic looked at the helicopter and he says, "Birds really like to crap on your helicopter, don't they?" Yep. I want to put it away clean. never have too much water. Gotta get the ladder over there too. Well, I can start on the side here. I don't know if I did this side. I lose track of what I do, so I just do it again. The part I hate doing the most is this underside, because there's usually a lot of bugs on it, and it's really low down. So you gotta scrunch down. I really hate it. My knees are not what they used to be. All right, almost time for water. You hear me out of breath, which is probably going to sound great on the video later. I am out of shape. Sitting on my butt too much. It is a good idea that if whoever asked about waxing it, it actually is a good idea to wax basically any vehicle, because it adds a protective barrier, protective layer, and it also makes it easier to clean down the road. So good. I'm glad you liked it. Where's the ladder? Here it is. So someday you go for a ride with me. That'd be fun. Does he remember your nanny? Nope. Okay. Too young. She seemed to like it. No, she was fine. And it was a real blast for me to land in your driveway, considering who lived there before. That was just too funny for words. Oh boy. Thank you. You have a great day. So that, if you're just tuning in, those are my neighbors. I had texted them. Bye. Nice meeting you. I had texted them to let them know I was doing this because I knew that they had a young son and you might be interested in sitting on it when it wasn't making a lot of noise. So they heard me come in and drove over. Ugh. This side's dirtier than the other side. Let's see. This ladder. It's even though this ladder is rock solid, it still makes me nervous to get really high on it. And again, I'd be washing the blades if I had my truck here. Maybe in the spring. This plan was a little bit better. Should have gotten the lift down to where the helicopter was. And my truck would be here. And I can stand up in the truck bed and do blades. The good thing about doing the blades, especially if you wax them, is that they, the cleaner they are, the more efficient they are. Like like an airplane's wings, because it's a lot of wings. And I mean, I don't think I notice a difference. It's been a long time since I washed my blades. They get clean when I fly in the rain. Let's take the paint off a little bit. The dust takes the paint off too. Alright. Get this out of the way. You could see all the dirt and actual chunks of bird poop on there. Ugh, disgusting. So I want to, while I'm talking, and I have some channel members there. I want to thank you again for being channel members. You really, really motivate me to create more videos. You motivate me to create special events like this, which are not exciting, but some people might find them interesting. I might, when this is all done, and the video's been saved, I might download it, edit it, and make it into something a little bit more interesting. Probably not though. My least favorite task is editing video. Although I have to say I'm usually pretty happy with the way stuff comes out. Okay, so now moving on to the tail. Getting it wet. I'll do this side first since the ladder's here. I have to do this back panel and these legs. It looks 100% better already. I need a washing crew is what I need. A washing crew with a video person. Now this rear part, I'm doing it on this backside now. You can't really see. This is called the fan scroll. The whole helicopter, this whole stuff, everything you see beyond the doors. This is the fuel tank, which is, it's got a rubber bladder in it. But this is the actual wall of the fuel tank with the bladder on the inside. Everything else is fairing, door, fairing, kind of fairing, not removable though, door of course. All these fairings come off when you get a major inspection like an annual or 100-hour inspection, and some of the panels come off for a 50-hour inspection, which is basically a souped up oil change. They open it up and they pull the cylinders, not pull the cylinders, pull the spark plugs, and yeah, it's got spark plugs. It's got a Lycoming IO 540 engine in it, which is an airplane engine. The I is for injected, the O is for opposed, which means that the engine, which I can't even show you, it's really tucked in behind everything. I'm not taking any panels off. On an airplane, the engine would be pointing that way, and then they would attach the prop to the end of it, to the end of the engine, to the drive thing on the engine. In this helicopter, the engine is pointed this way, and from there it goes into, let me just show you a little bit. It's going to be hard to see with the distance, but, so here's the fairings opened up a little bit. So the engine is down here, and it goes into, it's got the sheave on the bottom, and then there's a sheave above it, which is right here. So the engine is underneath in here. Can't take this off. And it's pointing this way, and there's a lower sheave that the engine's attached to, and an upper sheave, which is attached to the drivetrain, the drive shaft. And there's belts. There's 4 belts. So when you see me flying, starting up, shutting down, you see that clutch light. The clutch light goes on when the belts are adjusting. So when I turn it on, I'm tightening the belts. When I turn it off, I'm loosening the belts. They're very loose right now, of course. And sometimes in flight, when I make an engine adjustment, these belts will tighten up. They'll just adjust. So the light will go on, and you'll say, oh my God, the light went on. It's just, if it stays on for more than, like, I think they say 7 or 8 seconds, it's time to start really paying attention. Otherwise, you know, just kind of keep track of it. If it does it all the time, that could be an indication of a problem. But anyway, so it turns the upper belt, the upper sheave, where there's a drive shaft, which I'm sure you can't see, and that goes into a transmission, which is underneath the main rotor blades, and then the drive shaft goes all the way out to the end, and there's another tail rotor gearbox on the back. So main rotor gearbox, tail rotor gearbox, and that's the way it works. People say, oh, there's all these moving parts, but you know, in reality, airplanes have lots of moving parts too. Just because the wings on an airplane don't spin doesn't mean they don't have all kinds of stuff inside that are moving. When they, you know, move the controls, obviously that's moving stuff. Same thing here. So, you know, the whole moving part thing that people say, oh, helicopters, all those moving parts. Jesus, grow up. So this thing here is, talking about on the other side, this is the fan scroll. It's got these fins. So what happens is that the helicopter it has a fan back there, big fat fan. You can't see it. I mean, I can see it because I'm looking into these slats. And the fan sucks air through the engine, and the air comes in through here. There's an air filter in there to catch any particulates. And then the air goes in and it various places, and it cools off the engine and whatnot, and then it shoots out the back for these fans scroll fins. So that's the back. Just a fairing. And I have taken it off. I left the helicopter parked outdoors once, and birds moved in. And I could tell there were birds living in it because the whole fan area was covered with bird poop. And when I looked in there, I could see a bird nest. So I had to take the fan scroll cover off. Bug scrubbing. Take it off and get the bird stuff out, wash everything as best as I could. And then even later on, after all that happened, I took everything out. I thought I was good. I noticed that the helicopter was running a little warmer than usual. The cylinder head temperature was higher than usual. So I happened to mention it to my mechanic when I brought it in for a 50-hour inspection. And he pulled a bird nest with three cooked eggs in it, off the engine. Not something I could have seen on pre-flight because it was all cowled up, and we don't take the cowls off. We open the ones we can, but we don't take them off to pre-flight. So it's not something I could have seen. And the temperature never got bad enough to, get a mechanic over right away. It just was running a little warmer than usual. It was summertime though, and helicopter was aging. It's just something, the thing is, and the folks that don't own a helicopter, or an airplane for that matter, and rent all the time, you will never know an aircraft that you rent as well as one that you fly, or that you own and fly all the time. I mean, if you rent the same one all the time, you might. The problem is that other people rent in between, and you don't ever know what they do to it. So I know exactly where my needles are going to be as I fly. And that's good, because then I can see problems before they happen. It's greasy on the bottom, and I do not feel like going under there. There's a limit today. Well, I don't feel like being on wet gravel. Anybody want to come over and lie down on wet gravel? Clean the bottom of the helicopter? Alright, this side is pretty much done. So now the back end of the helicopter, let me move the hose the other way. It's nice if I could dry it as I go along, but not happening today. The back end of the helicopter, which you can't see, this panel here has a flat back. It's on this angle. And the exhaust comes out of it, and what happens is that the exhaust has a certain amount of greasiness to it. So you get this layer of just really horrible crap on it. And I have a cleaning solution that I use for that. Let me go fetch that. Sorry, I have to walk out of the camera. I'll stop and answer some questions before I run inside. Let's see if I can read these. Okay, how many years since the last overhaul? This helicopter's time for overhaul is 2025, so 12 years before that. 13? Yeah, 2013. I did not own it back in 2013. But the previous owner had it overhauled then, and then I bought it almost timed out. I bought it with 220 hours left, and I've got 85 left now. So you can see I'm not flying very much. Let's see. Well, I can't believe it was the last one. Why will insurance cost double, Greg asks, after the overhaul? The reason is it's going into overhaul with a value for insurance records of $150,000 because it's nearly timed out, basically what it's worth. When it comes out, I need to insure it at a minimum for what the loan is. And the loan is probably going to be about $200,000, maybe a little bit more. So I have to insure for at least $200,000, but this is my investment. If I crash it, like I crashed my other one, I want to be able to come away with some money. So it's going to probably be insured for, I'm thinking at least $400,000, and that change, and plus the problems in the insurance industry right now in the helicopter pool, that's going to cause the rates to go up. And the problems I'm talking about, my insurance agent, who's a good friend of mine who I really trust, he told me that the reason the rates are going up so much for helicopter insurance, enough to put people out of business, I should add, is because all the high-profile helicopter crashes there have been lately that have caused huge payouts. So there are big companies that get maybe a $25 million liability policy, and then they have a crash and they got to pay out $25 million. And what happens is that all helicopters are thrown into the same pool. So the fact that Kobe Bryant's pilot crashed a helicopter and they paid out a ton of money to those people means that my insurance is going to go up. Even though I can't carry that number of people on board, I'm not DFR, you know, it's a whole different situation. They don't care. I'm in that pool. So the more accidents the helicopter community has, the higher my rates go up. And yes, I know I had a crash, but my crash, the payout on my crash was nothing compared to some of these big ones, because basically all it was just the helicopter. So it was, my insurance agent says that it was basically, mine was peanuts, was the word he used. I would let's see now, when you do charter flights, is it possible to have an open window for photography to use to allow better quality photos? I actually usually get a door taken off. And right now, the FAA says that I'm not allowed to take the door off, even though the pilot operating handbook says that I am. I have to get a mechanic to do it. So unfortunately, I have to charge my passenger money to get his door off, which is dumb, but okay, it's the FAA. They're here to help. Let's see. Greg asks, it would be great to see photos during an inspection overhaul showing the panels off. And I had a few. If you go to my blog, you'll see some pictures, not very many, of my other helicopters overhaul, because this is not the first time I've gone through this process. There's not that many, but this time I think that when I get it overhauled, I think I will try to get there on a weekly basis and try to do videos about it, because it is very interesting. They strip it down to nothing. It's basically the frame. My dog is barking at us. What's going on? But it's hot in the sun. We have a problem with, I don't want to yell to my dog because it'll blast your ears off. We have a problem with bighorn sheep here. I know that sounds weird, but we do. Do certain parts of the helicopter get dirtier than other parts? Aileron wants to know. The front gets a lot of bugs. The worst part is under here where I don't like to clean because I have to scrunch down, and then also on the mast, which I think I got pretty clean already. The back end, which I was just about to get the cleaning fluid for, this is the worst. I call this R44 butt dirt. I mean, that's what I call it. And it's greasy and ugly, and it needs, you need a grease cutting product to do that. I used to use Purple Power, whatever, which is another reason why I wanted to be on gravel rather than on the dirt there. I don't want any chemicals going into my dirt. Let's see. They need a car wash for helicopters. I'd love to put this on a trailer and just pull it through. I definitely do need to win the lottery. We all need to be the one in the lottery. Long handle brush, probably. I do have a long handle brush. I have an RV brush where you can actually attach the hose underneath, and that hose will, water comes through the brush. But I don't use it because it is very clumsy and it doesn't do a very good job. I don't even use it for an RV. So I'm running inside for a second to get that cleaner. Hopefully I'll be quick. I'm not sure if you're going to hear me when I go into my metal building. I will keep talking. Bear with me. Those of you who know what's going on, you could tell newcomers the reason the video, audio is crappy, whatever. Let's put it here. This is Purple Power. Okay, I'm coming back out. So, the stuff that I use, I can't believe I still have some of this. Because really the only thing I use it for is the helicopter's butt. I call it R44 butt cleaner. Purple Power, you probably can't see that in the picture. It comes in an orange bottle. It says Purple Power Citrus Cleaner. And it cuts right through this grease. And I just spray it liberally. And I will need to scrub it. I should have brought out a different rag. My bad. I don't like to get this stuff on. I don't like to get this stuff any place I don't need it. I've been told that it takes the wax off too. So that's why usually when I do, and also gets this crud, also gets on the underside of the tail cone. So that's another pain in the butt place. Not all the way, just, I don't know, first 5 feet it looks like. Alright. Let's see. I'll use this and then I will do more. You kind of put it on, then you give it some time to work. There, I wouldn't run in the garage real quick and get a different rag. Or maybe a brush. Hold on. Sorry to keep doing this. I'm trying to get this done quick because it's really hot out in the sun right now. And I'm kind of working up a sweat. So not only am I breathing heavy, but I'm also sweating like a pig. Let's see. Here's not the rag I wanted. Oh, here we go. That's the one I want. Junky rag. But again, I don't like to get this degreaser on the whole aircraft, so I don't want to use the same sponge. So put it on, you wipe it off. And what happens is as you wipe it off, it comes off, the crud comes off. You can see that. Pretty good. And then you also see all the spots that you missed. So this helicopter has, you're not going to believe this when I tell you, this helicopter has a stripe. You're saying, what stripe? It has a Robinson stripe on it. The previous owner, believe it or not, had it painted with a flat black stripe. And the original end numbers from the factory, painted on from the factory, are black. So here's the stripe. Can you see it? I don't think you can see it. Maybe you can see it. Flat black. I can see where I can reach again. Oh, really reach again. And I do charter work. Black end numbers on this helicopter were not going to go over well with the FAA. So when they offered to put white ones on, I went for it. Now they didn't paint them on. They're decal, so they're kind of peeling off a little bit. Like up here. You can see the black underneath them. So as I'm cleaning that, the reason this comes up is as I'm cleaning the back of this. On the back of it, it says R44 with the stripes. It might even be the Astro paint job that people apparently like. My last ship did not have stripes. I don't like the stripes. Alright, so first go through. Now I'm going to do it again. Least favorite thing to do. And then I rinse it when I'm all done. Let's see where it really needs it. Rinse it down the tailpipe. So the helicopter has a muffler just like a car would. And all the exhaust goes through that. A lot of folks, when you fuel up at an airport, you have to attach a grounding strap. And what they do is they put it on the tailpipe, which is a really common place to put it on airplanes too. But the better place is right here. These little things, which you might not be able to see, that's where I attach the ground handling wheels. And that's a really way better location for a grounding strap because a grounding strap on the tailpipe will bend it over time. And I see bends on it from people who have a grounding strap. Oh, this is way better. I wish I could show you, but I guess I could take a picture. If I took a picture, you'd see me in the picture. Because that's how clean it is. Let's So, a long time ago, when my charter business was really fresh, and I was really trying hard in the Phoenix area to make it into a good business, I went to an event called Big Boys Toys or something idiotic like that. And I paid money to be able to have a booth where I would try to get people interested in helicopter rides. So I landed outside the place, the helicopter on its wheels, dragged it into the building, onto the carpet, you know, spent the rest of the day cleaning it so that it would be like new condition. It was still pretty new at the time, so that was pretty easy. But I remember lying on my belly cleaning the underside. Not fun. Anyway, what a freaking waste of money that was. All people wanted was to look at motor stuff and food, and it's a big waste of time. We've got a little bit more on this side here. Ugh. All right. These panels are made out of really lightweight metal. So the noise you just heard was them kind of moving along. This poor thing. Okay, I'm not going to rinse it. Lose this. Then I'll take a look to see what messages you folks have posted, more questions. Again, you need to be a channel member to participate. Let's see. Greg, it would be wonderful to see you as a charter flight customer. Do you live in the area? It's gorgeous in this area. And I'm glad you can still hear me when I'm in the house. Yeah, the stripe is, you wouldn't have noticed. I'm looking at it from here, and it's flat black. And everybody, when I was looking at the helicopter to buy it, they kept saying, oh, isn't it cool with the flat black stripe? And I'm thinking, it would be cool if it didn't have a stripe at all, but, okay. Me out of breath again. All right. So now I'm going to give that a rinse. I'm going to rinse the side because I could see soap streaks on it. First, let's get this rinsed. And again, those of you who are purists and have read the Robinson Pilot Operating Handbook for the washing, it tells you not to use this. They're trying to avoid people using power washers, which should never be used to clean any aircraft. It's just too much pressure and it can damage parts. This is a really light, showery spray. I would not use it like this. And it's really not, I'm not concerned about it damaging anything. I'm also not pointing it at certain components, like the pitot tube in the front. You don't want to get water in the pitot tube. It gives you all kinds of weird readings. Alright, I'm pretty sure I washed this part. I just think I left the soap on it. I see soap coming off of it as I'm rinsing it. Alright. So, the butt is done. I can work on the tail cone now. We're almost done. I can't believe there's still 49 of you here. If you can't leave a chat comment because you're not a channel member, leave something in the comments below the video. I'm not sure if you can do that now or if you have to wait. And I will try to answer questions. I just won't answer them live. Honestly, there's no way I could get this done if I had to answer everybody's questions. So limiting it to members just seemed like a real smart idea. Let's see if I can reach this. I should mention that there's also vents along the side for air to come in. I mentioned the fan scroll, but there's also vents here. So there's a vent here with a filter on it. There's a vent back here as well. not very much fun. I hate washing my cars too. But my cars are way easier than this. Except my truck. My truck is really big. But they need a ladder for that too. You should see the clumps of bird poop. They were probably sitting on the rotor blade when it was over this. And they might have been sitting on this. Possible. Antenna. Kind of awkward place to sit, but I can imagine it. Clumps of it. And then it's embarrassing. You go to do a charter flight and the helicopter's covered with crap. You know, and there's no way to wash it down there. There's really no place to wash it except here. So, here, and the rinse cycle. Is the video quality any good? I hope so. I was going to do this on my concrete driveway, but it's a little bit of a tighter landing zone, and then the camera would have been pointing more into the sun, which would have made a bad video. That's why I decided to do it here. Long hose. So now back here I've got some stuff I need to be careful with the hose. There's a breather tube on the tail rotor gearbox. Look at all that poop. Can you see all that poop? That's the hose that gets you up there. Yeah. That's where they love to sit. They love to sit on my vertical stabilizer. I got poop all down the stinger. I got poop on this part of the candy cane. I got just dirt, dusty dirt on the candy cane. And then every time you walk under the tail as you're doing this, it drips on you, so you get pretty wet. I did a blog post back in 2006. I know that because I just looked it up today. Oh, the sun made a really weird light on this from a weird angle. It looked like I had a piece of tape right here. I was like, what the hell is that? And it's not. Ooh, that was weird. And in that one, I was washing it right outside my hangar in Arizona at the airport. And the helicopter, backed the helicopter in. So I did the back first, and then the front. And then what I do, because the hose is not very long, is I basically push the helicopter in as I'm working on it. Ooh, water's going right down. This thing here, the sole purpose is to prevent people from walking into the tail rotor. If this thing wasn't here, remember the tail rotor is invisible when it's spinning. It really is invisible. You have to look hard to see it because it's so fast. This tail rotor, by the way, the blade tips will break the sound barrier, which is why helicopters are loud. The loudness doesn't come from the engine or the main blades as much as it comes from the tail rotor blade. That's why certain helicopter types which don't have tail rotors are quieter. But anyway, I'm regressing here. If this wasn't here and this was invisible and you needed to get from that side of the helicopter to this side and you remembered about the exhaust, you might be tempted to walk underneath. So this thing here makes it like why would you'd have to go way down. So you wouldn't do it. Hopefully. Just get water in here. I don't know what else I could tell you about it. It's just, it looks like it's going to need to be dried with a rag. I'll probably give it one more good rinse before I'm done and then go at it with a drying cloth, because I see all kinds of, I mean, it just doesn't even look clean right here. Maybe I didn't clean this. As it's drying, I'm finding spots that I either missed or the soap scum is just really bad. I'll watch the video and it'll show me that I did certain things 4 times and missed other things. So I did a ash scattering. Here's a funny story. Okay, it's not a funny story. So I did an ash scattering job. It was for a local friend who lives in Washington. Before I moved here, but I had a lot of friends up here still. I came up every summer. And his mom and dad had died. I don't remember which one went first, but they both got cremated. They saved the ashes of one till the other one died. And they wanted their ashes scattered over their pear orchard that grows pears. So he asked me as a friend with a helicopter, would you do this? Could we do this? I'm like, yeah, no problem. So whenever you're throwing something out of the helicopter, you do not want it to be on the other side, because there is a risk, maybe slight, but it depends on what you're dropping, that it'll go into the tail rotor, because that's on the other side. So you don't want to drop anything out the other side. So I had him sit behind me. I sit on this side. So he had mom and dad's ashes in a bag or something. I don't remember what. And gosh, I think we had his door off to make it easier. And we got over the orchard, and I hovered. It was like 100 feet, 200 feet up. You know, that's not how I do it these days. But anyway, that's what we did. And he dumps the ashes out, and as he's dumping them, they do what any airplane pilot will tell you that they do. Some of them start coming back into the cabin, but most of them go out, and I'm glad. And we're done, and I land. Then they leave, and then I walk around the helicopter, and I see that, of course, he's sitting here. The ashes were all over here, and they'd gone inside my vent here, which has an air filter in it. That's air intake for the helicopter. So immediately I get on the phone with the mechanic. I'm off airport, I don't have a mechanic nearby, but I get on the phone with the mechanic and I say, oh my God, what happens if? And they said, well, if it gets into the engine, you're going to have some serious problems. But the air filter probably caught it. So you should probably open it up and check to see about the air filter. So I did all the things you told me to do and we replaced the air filter, and there was never any problem, but it was a real eye-opening experience on doing ash scatterings, which is basically, don't do them that way. So the new way that I do ash scatterings, and I have done a lot, first of all, I will not do precision ash scatterings like that, like they have to be over specific coordinates or something. It's general. You want your ashes scattered over a mountain? Fine, let's go up to the mountain, but I'm not going to scatter them over a specific hiking trail or whatever. And of course, it has to be a place where there's not going to be any people on the ground. I had a guy once, he had his aunt's ashes and he wanted them scattered over the Biltmore Fashion Mall in Scottsdale. You can't even make this stuff up, because his aunt was a really big shopper. And that's where he wanted to scatter them. And I said, sorry, I can't do that. Could you imagine hovering over downtown Scottsdale, dropping somebody's ashes out of a helicopter? So, I could tell you stories all day. The way I do it now is kind of interesting. So what we do is we get, I don't know if you've ever seen cremains. They're not very fine. There's chunks of bone and stuff in them. And they're like a fireplace ash, kind of, with pieces of wood, except it's not wood, it's bones. And some of that stuff falls really good, some of it doesn't. It's the stuff that doesn't that's the problem. So what I do, is I get tissue paper, and a nice big sheets of tissue paper, and before we get on the helicopter, we take the cremains, and we wrap them, we lay out a piece of tissue paper, and we dump the cremains into it. Sometimes we'll do it into two, whatever. And Then we pull up the sides and twist it on the top to make this little bundle, tissue paper bundle of ashes. And then we get in the helicopter. We go flying over the area. I bring it into a high hover, at least 1,000 feet up. And then I tell the person who's going to dump the ashes to untwist the top. So now the only thing holding the thing closed is their fist. And then take that and put it out the vent, the door vent. Because what I do is I leave the doors on. And these are door vents. They will open. I'm not going to open them now because I don't want water getting in, but there's one in each door, and they open wide like a little square. And you can get ashes out there. And then I tell them to fling them. So what happens is that they're flinging this open bag of tissue, bag of ashes that is made with tissue, and then as the bag tumbles, it opens up. And the ashes, everyone who's done it describes it as being a poof. I usually don't get to see it because I'm sitting on, I'm flying. So they see it's like a poof, and then they're always excited, and that's how I do it. And that keeps the ashes off the helicopter, out of the helicopter. It gives the person a dignified, release. And it's it's not, you're polluting. Yes, I'm dropping tissue paper into areas, but the tissue paper would biodegrade very quickly, usually probably within a year. So it's not like a huge impact. All right, I'm going to turn the tail rotor blades, which is going to turn the main blades. I don't really need to turn the main blades, but I do want to turn the tail rotor blades so I can wash them. This is the tail rotor assembly, which will be completely replaced at overhaul. I think the gearbox just gets rebuilt. I don't think they actually replace it. So I've probably done about 10 ash scatterings, really not that many. I don't like to do it with more than 2 people on board. And the reason for that is you have to come into a high hover, and it's not easy to do when you're heavy, especially if it's a hot day. I'm not saying it's not possible, it's just I prefer not to do it. But usually I'm so high it doesn't really matter, because if I do get into a settling the power situation, I'm high enough to get out of it with no problems. So it's just a matter of recognizing it and pulling out. Okay, I'm going to clean this side of the vertical stabilizer first and come around to the other side. There is an absolute ton. This way. Away. An absolute ton of bird poop on top of that. Let me get some more soap in here. Looks better. It needs to be dried by hand. Maybe I should just wet it down and fly away. Let the air do all the work. Kind of cheating. I like when I have to fly in the rain during the cherry season because it cleans the rotor blades really good. And it also, if I'm cruising from one orchard to the next, at speed with a good rain, it really cleans the helicopter pretty good. A lot of times if I can land while it's still wet, I could dry it down and it'll be clean. But that doesn't happen too often. Unfortunately, it didn't happen this year. Last year I remember flying a thunderstorm. I had to land in an orchard, wait it out. It was really nasty. I gotta climb one more step, and I really could climb this ladder. You climb any ladder. I'm afraid of heights. Yes, it's true. Helicopter pilot is afraid of heights. You really have to scrub it, get it off. So I get the other side from here. Climb the ladder only once. Does it look cleaner? Should. Should look shiny, sparkly. Maybe not moving that crap right here. I mean, it's like a puddle of it. Looks like I got it good. There's so much crap on this sponge that I don't even want to stick it back in the water till I rinse it. Well, I'm not perfect up there, but pretty good. Looking into the side. I have a bunch, not a bunch, I have a couple busybody neighbors. I would not be surprised if one of them came by. Picture. Other people are very small-minded, very small. I don't know, petty. Petty is the word. Petty people. So I've been at this for like an hour now. I mean, it feels like I've been at it for a week. I'm almost done now. Very close. I didn't want to bother any of my friends to come and watch the comments as I did this, which is one of the reasons I also did it members only, just to minimize the number of comments, and also to thank my members. I say comments, I'm talking about chat comments. So I need to get the leading edge of this. With my scrubby, my anti-bug scrubby. Nope, I like it to be more high angle. Three-legged ladders. This is an orchard ladder. Nope, still a little bit more angle. Yeah, excellent for doing any kind of outdoor ladder work. Highly recommended. Not easy to find probably in areas that doesn't have a lot of tree fruit. They're easy to pick fruit trees. I got this at Home Depot though, because our Home Depot caters to ag people. So you can see there's a price tag on it. Yep, $67. I think it's 40% off too. We're in bird shit. Ew. Bugs removed. I just got one more surface, this upper horizontal stabilizer. the way this is curved, it has almost like a gully in the back, and dirt collects back in there after it rains. Reach this. Oh, come on. Oh, you're probably hearing all kinds of clunking with the microphone up against the ladder. Sorry about that. All right. Done. Done with the wash. I'm going to give it one more overall rinse. Make sure all the soap is off of it. So I think when I'm done, since some folks seem to like seeing me fly in, I will fly out. So this will be a really long video, and again, I'll probably download it and try to edit it a little bit. Maybe I'll just include the questions and answers and a couple stories, I don't know. Folks don't like to watch long stuff, and you know what? I'm one of those folks. Lately, when I'm looking for a video on YouTube, boy, it looks like I never cleaned that. Yep, sure does. Okay, there's the spot. When I'm looking for a video on YouTube lately to learn something, you know, like editing software or whatever, if they offer multiple options, I will normally opt for the shortest one. Because, like, I don't feel like sitting in front of half these guys on YouTube, and I'm probably one of them. They tell you a lot of stuff that you don't really need to know about what they're doing. And I mean, at least I'm keeping busy this whole time. I'm not just sitting in front of a screen talking in your face. These guys will sit in front of their screen, talk at your face, sit in front of their camera, talk at your face, and go on and on and on about what they're going to show you and why it's so great and why you should be a member and subscribe, and here's my sponsor, and then they go on for 2 minutes about some video game that has nothing to do with their channel. And I got no patience for that. I missed this whole section right here. I thought the front half was it, but not the back half. And I can see because this car wash stuff that I'm using is a clean dry, whatever. So if you rinse it enough, it won't streak. And I had streaks. Streaks up here too. Alright, okay. It's actually a lot easier to do when there's multiple people. You split up the task. Alright, wash, rinse, rinse, rinse. Rinse. Of course, it doesn't help that I have really hard water here. This is the final rinse cycle. Well, even if it's not 100% clean, it's like 98% cleaner than it was, because it was really filthy. So I feel good about this. I'm going to check to see if you guys have any questions. I'm going to do a quick dry, get all this junk out of the way, get my dogs back either in the helicopter or in the house, and take off. The only thing is, the video will keep going with nothing to look at until I get back, and I'm not going to be back for at least an hour. So I'm not trying to understand how I'm going to do that. I think I might have to turn the camera off, because I do not need it to make a 4-hour video. Let's let me look at the comments here. Those of you who are in chat. Yeah, Portland's not far from here, Greg. It's like a 5-hour drive. I should mention also that my mechanic is down in McMinnville. So there's a pretty good chance that I will be in McMinnville in May. if you want to do a flight around there after my maintenance. But it has to be a short flight because I'm trying to minimize my flight time. And thank you, Jason, for the link to my website, or the pointing out my website, flyingmair.com. Yeah, thank you, Greg. I think that everything worked out really well. And it's unfortunate about the 720, but hey, it's better than the old days. Yes, about Greg's asking about the rotors, that when you could turn them by moving the tail rotor. So again, everything is, right now the blades are disconnected from the engine. And that's because the clutch is disengaged, that's the first thing. And the second thing is that there is something called a freewheeling unit that will automatically disengage the blades from the engine. Let me leave this here because I want to dry. When the helicopter is, when the engine dies. Oh God, there's like a lake in here. Crap. I mean, it leaks. It leaks. All right. Oh, and it's really hot in there. So they're not attached at all. So you can, part of the pre-flight is to check, there's, I don't even know how to describe them. I can't even remember what they're called. The flex couplings. They're called flex couplings. There's two right back in here, and then there's two forward in here. When you pull down this panel, you can kind of see them. And part of the pre-flight is to make sure that these flex couplings are not cracked. And the only way to see all parts of the flex couplings is to move the helicopter's rotor blades, because that will turn the flex couplings along the drive shaft, and then you can see it. I'm not going to dry the whole thing. Oh, maybe I will. I'll just do a really quick dry. It's going to be very happy when it's going. Let it rest. Out of the sun, out of the dust. Oh, I forgot to take the mounting thing, so that's going to be in the video that's inside. That's going to be a really short video, though. So I went up to Twisp the other day. Twisp is north, what's north of here? And I thought I had all the cameras on. The nose cam worked the entire flight, but there's no audio other than wind noise for that. So that's a disappointment. Well, it's the entire flight, I mean both ways. In fact, it just ran out of space on the card when I got into to get my oil change. So it really ran a long time. And I shoot at 4K now because people are complaining. And then my computer can handle 4K. My old computer could not. My laptop cannot. So that means no 4K when I'm traveling. Anyway, actually I don't think my laptop can even handle my video editing software. That's something to worry about. So I've got a lot of footage. I'm way back at work the whole way, all the cameras. And I've got a lot of footage, really pretty footage from the flight up. It was just a gorgeous flight. The weather was perfect. It was pretty smooth, a little windy on the way back. So that'll be a lot of nose cam stuff. And then on the way home, there's cockpit stuff, cockpit point of view, and nose cam, and even some facing the pilot and her passenger, which I'm not even sure I'm going to use. So, and she was really quiet on the way back, which is funny. I think she was tired. Maybe hot. Flying back, it was mostly into the sun, and the air conditioning is great, but it's not perfect. It doesn't do a great, great job. I'm going to open this up to cool out the cockpit. So all I'm doing now is just going over it with a microfiber cloth to soak up the excess water. It gives a little bit of well, it gets the excess dirt off too. I'm finding a whole bunch on these fins that I missed. Wow, I can't believe how dirty this is. So now my rag is dirty. hard to be motivated to take care of the appearance of an aircraft that you know is going to get overhauled in less than 100 hours flight time. But I don't know, I think it deserves it. I think that if you're going to spend money to buy nice things, it breaks my heart to see it's parked out there in the sun all summer. Working on that. Here. That. Streaks on it. Wow, I mean, it's really clean back here now. I had a detail one year. I had a pilot working for me. It was a year where particularly it was the rain. Poor guy never got to dry cherries at all. But his side gig, he wasn't the owner of the helicopter. He was hired by the owner, and the owner wasn't actually paying him very well. I felt really bad for him. I get that every once in a while where, you know, somebody owns a helicopter and they'll send it up for the pilot to do the work, but they don't pay the pilot very well. And the pilot thinks he's going to fly a lot, and there's not a lot of flying in cherry bag. So anyway, his side gig back home was detailing. So when he offered to detail a helicopter, like $150, whatever it was like all over that. Just don't throw the keys on the helicopter. It's really good at this now. All right, well, this is about as good as it's going to get. And you know what? It's a billion times better than it was. See the streaks in here. So, I am going to turn off the camera. Although I would love to let you see me leave. Maybe what I'll do is I'll run upstairs, turn the live stream off, and hook up a GoPro in the same position so you can watch me leave that way. It'll be a separate video. You know, because if I leave the live stream on, there's nobody home to shut it off. So it would just keep running, and it would make the video an hour longer than it needs to be. And we're already at nearly 2 hours. So I just think it would be best if I turned it off. Looks clean, right? What do you think? A little applause, please. Let me check to see if you got any final questions before I go up and turn it off. Okay, I don't know if there's a delay or there's no questions. Thank you, Jason, for awesome. 47 of you here. I hope you found at least a little bit entertaining. I wish I could have been more entertaining. I wish I could have had somebody follow me around with a camera. But hard to get good help these days. Next time, maybe. Yeah, oh boy, it looks... I'm really happy. I don't know if you can see me here. I'll stand out in the sun. I'm really happy with the way this looks. And it's not even perfect. It's not even close to perfect. But it looks so much better than it did. So, I feel good about it. So that's that. I'm going to come on up now, turn the camera off. Let me just check one more time for questions, because there is a delay, which is annoying. Okay, and thanks, Greg, for the Dr. Charter flights, and PK, thanks for the compliment. It really does look nice. I mean, there's nothing like a clean helicopter. Yeah. Okay, let me go upstairs and turn that thing off, and I'll set up a GoPro. We'll make something out of this, because people have been complaining or commenting how they wish that they could see me take off. So I will I'll do that. And it'll be really close because the camera's really close. And if I can get it hooked up just right where the camera won't blow away, I should actually be able to put it in. I can actually use the same, I can just use the same camera I've got. Oh, geez, you're still there. What did I miss? Let's see. Okay. Okay, it still worked. What happened was that the phone said, here's the helicopter again. The phone said that it was too hot. So I am going to leave this now. I don't know what you guys said while I was gone because the thing wasn't working. I am going to turn this off now and I'll make a video of me departing with the GoPro. Thanks everyone for watching. Thank you so much to channel members and Patreon patrons and the folks who buy t-shirts and stuff like that. You guys make this more, you motivate me. We'll just say that. Thanks so much. Take care everyone. Goodbye. Be safe.